Welcome back to the Man Pod. I'm one half of the pod. Darius Butler, my co-host, is out today, traveling abroad. Got a hell of a sub in today with Will Blackmon.
Hey, man.
My boy, man. Also the host of Upsets Underdogs on the Blue Wire Pod Network. What up, Will?
Look, man, that's what it is, man. Actually, that's kind of how my career went, man. It was like, look, hey, we need a starter today. We're gonna give you this 1 year deal. We need a starter. We need a starter today. So I'm like, look, I'm always ready, man. It's funny. Before the show, I was saying like, look, if it's playing, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but you hit me spontaneously, and I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah, man, that's how it goes, especially in today's day and age. It's crazy.
Right.
That was a big question and topic of conversation we had on this show, actually, talking about would it be harder to be a starter or backup? And AB had played his whole 14-year career as a starter pretty much. And when he was in some sort of backup or sub role, it was already after 12, 13 years of starting. So
right. So he already had starter qualities.
Yeah. So of course that's a walk the park. You know what I mean? But when you trying to make a name for yourself and then you get thrown in that fire in action, obviously that's a completely different ball game. But
right,
you still got 12 in, so that's hella impressive, man. A lot going on around the NFL right now, man. A lot we're going to talk about. Obviously, tonight's game, the Ravens and Dolphins. Cam is meeting with the Panthers, so is he heading back?
Right now.
Yeah, meet with the Panthers. He heading back. OBJ, somebody we're both very familiar with. Where would he land? Where should he land? Matter of fact, you might as well come out of the gate. We're going to be taking questions, obviously, live questions as well. You might as well come out of the gate with that, man.
OBJ?
Obviously, one of the most popular players in the league. It's been some years since he's had that type of production to match his popularity. But where do you think he lands, man? And do you think, like I do, that he's still very, very capable of being a wide receiver one?
Dog, it's that's the funny narrative, man. It's like, I get it. People will look at production and they're like, okay, he has not had like top tier wide receiver one production in a long time, and I understand that. His journey has been super interesting, right? Obviously, his divorce with the Giants. He said they sent me to Cleveland to die, so he didn't want to go to Cleveland to begin with. You know what I mean? And it was, and then obviously the injuries. And I know, like, anytime I get this question, who's the best you played against? My answer is not OBJ, but he is top 2, top 3 most challenging, difficult receivers I have ever guarded in my time. I'm like, God, there's nothing he can't do.
Talent-wise,
he's the best receiver in the league. I'm gonna say talent-wise, like in terms of what he can do, I think he's the best receiver talent-wise.
Not right now. Not right now. No. I can't agree with you there. I can agree with you that he's a wide receiver one, but talent-wise, since
all right, Devontae. Anyhow,
I left in 2017. At that point in time, very much so. I would probably say that talent-wise.
Okay, right, so Devontae right now. Okay,
yeah,
so anyhow,
there's some guys doing some pretty good stuff at that wide.
But I think right now he is a wide receiver one, given the right situation, and I think the right situation to get him back on track is Green Bay. I think that is the best situation because he's gonna get the ball. Period. And especially him finish out this year, putting on a good resume, showing everybody what we know he is, so he can go into free agency next year and go to a good spot. Yeah,
because I think he's got to get with not only a good quarterback, but a quarterback that can decipher coverages, that can I got Odell matched up on cornerback 3. Let me go to him in this progression.
Because that's the obvious situation. Like,
it's obvious. It's obvious. You got to go to those matchups. Obviously in Green Bay, it wouldn't be any controversy about who's the guy there. Obviously, it's Devontae Adams, the report he has with A-Rod. So Adams he has spoken multiple times saying he wants him there. I think Green Bay will be a great landing spot. I think another good landing spot for him will be Kansas City. Kansas City, a lot of people have been talking, hey, they need another weapon outside of Hill and Kelsey. I don't think they just develop a running game or a running identity. They're going to throw the ball 40 times a game. You might as well have another I think mismatch. You won't be getting double teamed, 2 safeties high. You'll have a deep safety over Hill all game. You'll be worried about Kelsey, obviously, in a possession situation. So Odell to Kansas City, I think, will be another good move. I don't know if it happens. I don't know what money they have.
I like Los Angeles Chargers. I like the Chargers because that boy is throwing the ball. Okay,
you know how I feel about Herbert.
I know how you feel about Herbert. I like the Chargers, even though everyone's saying Rams. I like the Chargers, man, because they're built for that. Here's something interesting I want to bring up to you is when Aditi came out talking about Cleveland, like it's a system offense. He's not running the right route. He's not being where he's supposed to be. It's a system offense. Didi Quickabalo, reporter. Okay. She does the AFC North. I hope I didn't destroy her last name. But she reported that, Stefanski, his offense is a system offense. So what that tells me, when you hear system, it means like it doesn't matter who the bodies are. It doesn't matter who's at wide receiver 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter who the running back is. Like, we're gonna run our plays. And that's where I feel like it was a disservice to if you have a dude. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. We saw right now, people were putting him with the Patriots, and I don't think that'll be a good situation just because it's a young quarterback. He's still trying to figure it out. I wouldn't say that's a good spot for him. He'll be getting most likely double team on pass situations. You'll have a safety over top of Odell if he's there. But a lot of people remember Randy went to New England. And now, obviously, we know the system that New England had been running forever. But there were a lot of much different things they did once 81 came in that building. I feel like that's what you do as a good coach, which side of the ball.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what you do. You have to. I don't know what or who Brandon Staley even was before he was the D coordinator for the Rams. But he had Jalen Ramsey. He's like, hey, like this dude was a stud all over the field in Florida State. Like, let's try that shit again. Let's see how he plays in the slot. Let's see how he plays here. And he's clearly, I think right now, probably the best DB in the game just because of how he can impact the game in different phases. So coaches, I understand systems and plays, but always the Joes, the pros, always supersede the X's and O's, man.
So I look at
gotta be able to adjust.
I look in Green Bay, right? When I was there, we ended up, but I got to the same time when we signed Charles Woodson. You know what I'm saying? And he was the number 1 corner. That type of player coming from Oakland. And when we switched defenses, we had the Dom Capers Blitzburg defense. He moved Charles into nickel. And he was like, look, I'm a building blitzes. I'm a building all kinds of coverages because he's the star. He's our star player. Yeah. I'm gonna design it around for him because he knew what type of player he had. And that's why it's crazy to me everybody's going this narrative like OBJ, blah, blah, like he didn't fit the system. I was like, because when you have a guy, that's what you do. You script plays to get this man to rock. He's the type of player, like the more he gets the football, like he's gonna build more energy. I kind of look at like CeeDee Lamb. He's like that right now. The more CeeDee touches the football, like the more dangerous he gets.
And that's a lot of wideouts. That's a lot of
wideouts, right?
Yeah. Playing certain receivers, but I remember specifically like Brandon Marshall. Like, I remember D coordinators were always getting in front of the room like, hey, got 15 this week. He's a dog. But if you take him out early, if you limit him early, we can maybe get in his head a little bit. Maybe he'll be arguing with the coordinator or quarterback about that. So it's certain guys who –
But once he gets warmed up,
DK Metcalf is a guy who's kind of like that. You get him going early, he's going to be a problem all game as opposed to, like, Tyler Lockett. You don't have to throw the ball till the end of the second quarter. He's still going – he's going to be that same guy. So – different people, receivers are a little, we both have some receiver in our blood too, so it's a little deep in there. So
here's the thing though, not just receiver, but we're actually used to having a football. We both return kicks and punts. We both play offense, so it's a little different. That's kind of here's what I looked at returning kind of as like my saving grace, right? Like if I didn't have a good game defense wise, I'm like, okay, I could probably make up for it. Return
the football.
Yeah. And you're going back there and kick off. I could probably make up for it right here. Let me do something.
Facts.
That's funny.
Facts. So I hope OBJ obviously lands in a good spot and reminds everybody who he is and has a successful career. Actually got
and stays healthy. That's the thing too.
Yeah, stays healthy. That's big.
Because he can go to a spot, let's say New England, and let's say he's getting all the targets. Like, okay, is he fully healed from everything that he's dealt with in Cleveland? Like they had that man crack blocking. He got hurt blocking last year.
He got hurt going to make a tackle after a pick.
That's what it was. There you go.
Yeah, but from all accounts that I've heard, he's a great teammate, regardless of the reports you hear.
No question about it.
The malcontent, I think, was some bullshit made up. Great teammate, works hard, so I hope he lands on his feet and gets it.
Here's a question for you, and I want to save this. I mentioned it on my show that I'm gonna put out soon, but do you think I'm going back to the Browns with Baker Mayfield? Because in college, what kind of offense did he run in college? He was air raid.
Who?
Baker.
Oh, Baker. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Baker was air raid at Oklahoma, right? 4 wide and straight slinging it. Then he comes to Cleveland. Maybe he's a victim of the system, which is the domino effect. If you really think about it, he's conformed to okay, it's all about the run game. Now I got to work on play action. I need to get to a spot. When Baker's style is, man, y'all just go out there and let me make this thing happen. It's just a thought.
I mean, that's a good thought because you see Kyler Murray and what he's done, especially since Kyler Murray, I think he would be phenomenal in any system. He's just that type of talent.
Right.
But I mean,
where does he shine the best?
Very comfortable. And these quarterbacks are running that type of system that they're running in Arizona from high school. That's what they're running in high school, going to college. You come to pro, you're a lot more comfortable. So that's a good point. Maybe it could change, but you're having some level of success in Cleveland as a team and at the quarterback position. So I'm hesitant to put any criticism on what's going on in Cleveland because my entire lifetime, they've been a bad franchise. And now they're actually winning.
That's because they have good players. They're still underachieving. They just have good players now, which is why they have a chance.
Hey, I mean, they've always had good players, though.
No, they got good players.
They've always had good players.
They never had a quarterback.
They've obviously missed a lot, but they've had good. If you looked at everybody, they've had good players that just come there, leave, and go play better somewhere else. Joe Hayden, T.J. Ward, Joe Thomas, probably one of the greatest
Gibson
tackles of all time. Josh Gordon. So they've had guys. Yeah. But anyway, let's get to this game this weekend. First game we'll talk about. Obviously, we want to talk about a little Thursday night game and a couple other big games from this weekend. The Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots, same record, 5-4. Both need wins. It's a point of season where they need to pick up. Patriots are 1.5-point favorites at home. Maybe a little surprising to some people. Chubb, I believe, is on a COVID list. Long shot that he'll be able to play. Who you got in this one?
I think right now New England is trending upward, man. I think they figured out who they were just overall as a team. I love how the defense is playing right now, man. You have so many smart veterans, just savvy on that side of the football. Obviously, you and I are big on the narrative, how the hell you don't give up a second-round pick for J.C. Jackson.
Got to at least try.
The price done went up, people.
You got to at least try. Yesterday's price.
Right.
It's not today's price. Mr. INT.
Mr. INT. But again, that's probably, why they were comfortable, letting Gilmore walk, even though Gilmore's making plays out the gate already. But I like the Patriots in this. This game right here, just speaking of Cleveland, is going to be huge for Baker if Chubb is not available. But again, it goes back to the system, right? They plug in any running back, and they gonna go for 100.
That's offensive lines in the league right now.
Yeah, Bill Callahan is the man. But I like New England in this. I just feel like they're trending in the right direction overall as a team. They know how to. If you have something that's easy for them to take advantage of, then it's a problem. Yeah, and I feel like that's the best thing that Bill Belichick has done his entire career.
Yeah. I mean, coaching in the season, take it from me, the season, I've heard Bill Belichick get up in front of the team and say the season doesn't start till around Thanksgiving during New England. Obviously, when you have a rookie quarterback, it's going to be a different ball game than it is with a Tom Brady. But Mac Jones figured it out. And Mac Jones honestly hasn't been playing great in these last couple of weeks. They're still figuring out ways to win games. The defense is coming along and playing well. And I don't like Baker Mayfield matched up against this defense that can mix it up, force you to throw in the tight windows all game. And then take advantage of your mistakes. You've had Adrian Phillips have multiple TD games with a pick six. You had J.C. Jackson, multiple pick games with pick six. McCourty's always a threat to turn the ball over. So Judon has been one of the best free agents signing. So I'm really liking where this team and this defense is trending. So I'm with you. I got the Packers winning. And I mean, not the Packers, the Patriots winning. And the Patriots covering this weekend, man. But that's some good stuff, man. What else you want to get to? Before, should have came out of the gate with this. Happy Veterans Day.
Yes.
To all the veterans out there. I know we have some in the chat. G.I. Joe 317 being one of them for sure. But happy Veterans Day. My dad served in the Army. Antoine's dad served in the Army. And our producer, Tone, our producer Tone, his pop served 26 years in the Navy. Actually flew on Air Force One for a few of those years. So shout out to all the veterans out there, and obviously the ones closest to us. You got any veterans in your family, Will?
Yeah, my cousin Rob, my cousin Dave, they both served, and my cousin Carl. So these are all like immediate family members too, not like 8-10 cousins. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us, have someone serve so on. It's always, obviously a special day to serve them. And even as a country, I feel like we should do a better job, catering to our veterans post-service, because it's a lot that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So huge thank you to all the men and women who are currently serving and who have served. So that's so, man. To the next thing, what else is that? Cam, we talked about Cam briefly. He's currently meeting with the Panthers right now. Sam Darnold, I think everybody is
the prodigal son return.
I'm not gonna jump on Sam Darnold's proverbial grave at this point. You guys know my stance on Sam. But Cam Newton, going back to Carolina. Good fit, bad fit, good idea, bad idea. How does this look for Cam? How does it look for the Panthers? What's your thoughts on this one?
I mean, you might as well try. The biggest thing is, what is his relationship with the organization? Obviously, he's back and they're willing to have a conversation. He's being an adult about that. But it's at this point where it's like you have a good football team. I think, especially early in the year, exactly. Especially early in the year, you weren't getting anything crazy in terms of the offense. Obviously, with CMC being out and now him working his way back in, you still have a competitive football team. So now you have two running backs too, and Chuba and CMC. So I think this is kind of catered for Cam, especially when they went to the Super Bowl in 15-1. They had a really good running game. They had a really strong defense, and they complemented each other. So I think this. If you look at the NFL, out of all 32 teams, this is his best situation. So I think this is a good fit.
I agree with you, and I was on this train a couple weeks ago when they first benched Sam, and I love PJ Walker. I played with him in Indy when he was a rookie. He's done great things, especially with how he got himself in the league. So no knock on PJ Walker, but my stance at that point was, if we do bring Cam into this mix, who would be the best option out of Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, and PJ Walker? For me, it would be easily,
not even close.
Cam Newton. So like for the reasons you said. Joe Brady, a lot of people have been on him. I mean, I'm kind of like a prove it. You got to prove it on this level.
Right.
So, but he has been known to be a great offensive mind. So we'll see. Having a weapon like C-Mac, obviously Cam already knows him. You got some other, I think, more weapons, honestly, on offense that Cam really had. He had Steve Smith early on in his career, had Greg Olsen at tight end position, always had a running game. But I think this offense could look very good at some point down the season with Cam. Defensively, they got some of my favorite players. I know Mac Jones tried to take Brian Burns out of there. But
you cut it out. You cut it out. Mac did not try to hurt that man. He was preventing him from getting the fumble, and it's unfortunate that something happened to my.
So you defending the actions by Mac.
Here's what I'm defending. I don't believe, and it's a small fraternity, but I don't believe that there are anyone,
you're not invested yet.
I don't feel like there's anyone in the NFL that's truly trying to injure one another. I might lay a big tackle. I'm like, okay, I want him to like feel it. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely some players who I've played.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Most of us, I agree with you. There's definitely something.
I was gonna say there's a small percentage of guys that are really out there to take. Cause I've been a victim of. I mean, how many times I was on the pile, returned and someone twisted my knee because they knew I had a knee problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's I've been there, but unless people bring up some hip,
I feel you. Though.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, well, though he was away from the play, and I'm like, well, you ever been on the ground in the NFL game? You don't know what's going on. So I think he was legit trying to hold him back. Now, if there was history of Matt Jones in high school taking dudes out, then okay, I'd probably change my mind. But man, I don't think he tried to do all that.
I'm with you there. In the heat of the moment, especially, and you've been a returner, you've been a receiver, you probably even fumble one as a DB. It's no worse feeling than fumbling like the football. It's like
that's what I'm saying.
Every coach will get in there and tell you, hey, the ball, this is us. The ball is the ball is everything. So when you fumble that ball as a quarterback, whatever, and it's on the ground, it's kind of like an anything goes type.
But it look like you care. You know what I'm saying? Like look like it matters. That was Cam's. That's what happened to Cam in the Super Bowl. People will get on him about that. When he fumbled, he was like, oh.
So I guess I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, if it happens again, if this was Mason Rudolph, I don't think I would give him the benefit of the doubt. But since it's Matt, I give him the benefit of the doubt right now. But I would personally, I would love the Cam Carolina reunion. Knows the city, knows the fan base,
right?
Knows some of the players. And even if he doesn't know him, I think everybody in that locker room knows who Cam is to their organization.
Right.
Once again, well wishes to my guy. My dog, he went out, got vaccinated, so he made. I know that played a role in him not being a quarterback
for sure. Yeah.
So he made that business decision. So let's hope it all works out for the best for him.
And speaking of today, we definitely got to give a huge, shout to Pat Tillman, former player who, made the ultimate sacrifice for the country. So yeah, definitely a huge shout to him, man.
Huge shout out to Pat Tillman, man. So unfortunate. I think he would have been 45 this year, I believe. But yeah, crazy.
I see one guy's finger stuck in his face. Look, I remember when we played the Lions that 016 season. I got tackled on a return, and some dude put his hand in my helmet and grabbed my nostrils. Like I'm already tackled. Grabbed my nostrils, did all this, and I just didn't understand it. I'm like, for what?
Them special teams.
Bro, them dudes get a check just to do ignorant stuff. Now, if there's anyone, it's special team guys. Those are the dirtiest.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to say. That was a different life out there. That special teams, like one special teams rep is like equivalent to like 12, 15 normal defensive or offensive snaps. Like, is anything goes. Those are some warriors out there. Landing on the line. Yeah, Pat Tillman, G.I. Joe, said Pat Tillman would have been 45 years old today. So a huge shout out to Pat Tillman. In about a few minutes, I'm going to take a little break. So y'all start throwing some questions here for Will. Y'all know I got to take my 1 minute
break.
Who else we got, man? Oh, what did I put up here? Oh, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers has been in the news lately for deceiving reporters, deceiving the people about his vaccination status. Some people took it more to heart and were, outraged by it.
Because everyone's so like, I get it in terms of, sure, yeah, he misled, whatever. But why are people taking it like he hurt them?
It's a lot of
He lied to us. He lied to me.
He lied to me. Put my life at risk. Like, no.
He ain't lied to you. He didn't even know you. He ain't lied to you.
It's obviously a pandemic that we're all dealing with.
No doubt about it.
And I listened to, obviously, he was on Pat McAfee's show. It's a show that I watched with some boys. So I listened to the whole interview. I don't think he was trying to, make it like COVID wasn't real or something, or he didn't care.
Right.
But, people take things out of context. But I guess moving on from that, he'll be back. He should be back out there this Sunday if he's able to play. Russell Wilson will be making his return as well after getting his pin removed from his finger. So he won't be doing any more phantom huddles. Everything will be real from here on out.
Can't leave that man. He gonna be ready because of that too. Okay.
Hey, that's part of the process. Okay, visualization. I'm sure A-Rod. I feel like A-Rod's one of those guys who can just wake up Sunday morning at 8 o'clock.
Look, this is another thing. This is another thing. So prior to the season, I'm like, actually, no, last year, right? They draft Jordan Love. I'm like, okay, he's pissed off. He just goes out and wins MVP.
We both said that, yep.
Yeah, he just goes out and wins MVP. You know what I'm saying? This year, he's not sure he wants to come back or not. And then they come out the gate, being top of the NFC. Mm-hmm. And now he's dealing with this. It's like, give him more fuel. Like, how do you, when someone's great, they just need a reason to be upset. Yeah. Like Jordan created these narratives. I remember watching the Usain Bolt documentary, and he already won everything. And that he saw Justin Gatlin say something. He was like, that's all I needed. You gotta find something. This is obviously, A-Rod brought it himself. And I understand. Yeah, no doubt.
Franchise quarterback. And at that point in August, every reporter was, hey, what's your status? What's this? How do you feel about it? So every comment is going to be taken. I understand that as a quarterback, hey, I'm going to lie or deceive or whatever to protect these brands. Allstate came out and said, hey, we stand by him. He did partnerships. But that's a part of it. So I get it. But I'm 35 years old. I've watched people lie to me every day. Every time I see a coach talking to you, I assume they're lying. Politician, police,
you ain't lying.
Whoever, I don't believe damn anything. So Aaron Rodgers' line didn't necessarily hurt my heart or so. Team knew he was unvaccinated, so that he was going through protocols, get tested every day, et cetera, et cetera. It's
That's funny you say that.
Though. But as far as the game, though, both these.
As far as the game, a lot of history between these two teams.
And
a lot of recent history. A lot of recent history. A lot of referees jumping in, messing this game up. You got the Hail Mary. You got other Hail Marys. I think in the past decade, I think they're even 4-4 in the 2010. So expect something crazy. Expect the over. Expect something. Like it's going to be pretty wild, man. I don't know how I feel about this.
But the Packers are favored at home.
They are favored, yeah,
by 3.5 points. And
I do like that.
I'm gonna go with the Packers in this one. Obviously, and once again, I feel like Aaron Rodgers I don't think he's a victim here, but like you said, the great ones find something to be pissed off about. And I just think he's obviously still a damn good football player. And watching their defense, I know the Chiefs have been struggling. That defense, played good enough, obviously, to win last game. If the guy that you were praising, Matt LaFleur, could have put 7 more points on the board with Jordan Love, but they didn't get it done. But I think they get it done at home against the Seahawks this week. But I feel like Russell, it'll be, like you said, I would take the over. I don't even know what the over is, but I'm taking it with these two quarterbacks coming back.
Yeah, Russell's pushing the ball down the field. Ain't no doubt about that. I also love the emergence. The Green Bay was forced into the situation, but they really started utilizing both running backs. You see AJ Dillon, he has the hot hand right now, making play. Well, he needs to have a hot hand holding to that ball. I'm gonna tell you that, AJ. Yeah, but have him and Aaron Jones making plays together. I think that's been outstanding. Obviously losing Tanya was a big deal, but having him back this week, I think. It'll be interesting. I'm curious to see that matchup, Aaron Rodgers, and I'm gonna say, and Quandre Diggs. He's been, just an assassin in the post right now. if you throw a dig route, it's getting picked off. Like I'm just letting you know right now.
Any overthrows. If you are not very, very careful
between the hashes, is getting picked off.
You got to be very sure. And on the other side of my break, I'm gonna definitely ask you about some of the best DBs right now in the game, especially some. I think Diggs would not.
Why you keep saying your break? Am I not getting a break?
You want a break too?
Am I supposed to hold it down?
Yeah,
like
sometimes people want to ask you questions, man.
All right.
But we can both take a break. We both take.
I'm here. You keep saying my break, my break. I'm like, well, what am I hanging out here? What's going on? Man,
now drop some questions in here for Will. You've never been a guest on the show and just turned into the host. Now you show up at somebody's party, be like, hey man, I gotta run out, go grab some ice. Hold it down until I get back.
I've done that. Listen, I've done that several. When I lived in Miami, I would host a party. I go in the room and play Madden. That's what
I see. You know what I mean? But so we both got the Packers winning the cover in here?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. We both got the Packers winning the cover. But I'm excited about this game, man. That'd be a good one. Obviously, two great quarterbacks. Good team.
They say you take a little smoke break now.
I gotta do what I gotta do.
You go out there with the new Paul 100s? Is that what you're doing?
Nah, hell no. I can't hit no pokes now. I get the vitamins. They get me right. I'm trying to leave here with a question. I can't just leave here dolo, even though this is what you do. So Will, for you guys who don't know, Will is a wine connoisseur. Any wine, football. What else will Will be an expert at? He's becoming an expert on sports betting. And I saw him call out some of the other analysts and former players, like, hey, who doing? I'm, coming along, learning as we go. Same with Will. Obviously, he has his own show over on the Blue.
But you've been doing it. Like, this is what you do. You are fully invested in the financial culture. Like, that is real. You are consistent with all that. But I'm just saying, I've been seeing a lot of experts out here. Now, I will say, someone was like, well, maybe some of these have been betting secretly. And now this is their chance to finally talk about it. Okay, that's fair. But there's a lot of people out there. I'm like, all right, now. Yeah. Can't just be throwing out.
The whole ecosystem has changed. The Manning family just signed a deal with Sportsbook.
Right.
That's how crazy the freaking landscape is right now. But Sativa, you got to do Sativa during the show, Nikki. I can't be on here with sleepy eyes. If
Sativa, Indica, I'm dead. So I don't even bother, bro. I got zero tolerance.
So here's a war question from the Beard.
Okay, if you ever had to go back to a squad, would it be the Giants or Washington? Who? You know what? Washington was a rough place to play. But I feel like I had some unfinished business in Washington. I love New York. I love the organization there, but I had some unfinished business in Washington to handle. You see, where's my helmet right there? I know the logo is not the same, but I have some unfinished business. Also, have I ever gotten to some natty wines? I have explored some natural wines. Natural wines is interesting because it's really difficult to make a natural wine because there's yeast everywhere. Just a little bit, tiny yeast can jump into the wine. It's not natural. So, yeah, I got into natty wines a little bit. Oh, this is good. Fire away. My man really took a smoke break. Here I go. Do I think OBJ would be good on the Colts? I actually do think he would be good on the Colts. I know T.Y. is trying to come back, and he's still dealing with some health stuff. Michael Pittman has emerged to an absolute monster. I think that game versus 49ers was really his coming out party because the weather was terrible. The game was ugly, but he made some monster catches in that game. And I think OBJ will be good. The running game is outstanding. With Jonathan Taylor, who he could be RB1 maybe end of this year, maybe eventually. Like, he's that good. So, yeah, I think OBJ actually would be pretty good on the Colts. roll these in. They have to fix this ref problem, especially Tony Root. They do, and it's, I tell you what, I never sat and listened to an analyst and I'm like, oh man, that felt great. But when Ryan Clark said what he said, I mean, there is no better way to put that. Think about it, like the NFL, it's such an emotional game. Like, when have I ever jumped into like another man's arm, right? When have I hugged like just another or whatever it is, just show these crazy emotions because it is that emotional. It's so hard, right? I'm watching all these films, doing all these things just to get out there and make this one play, because that one play can determine the rest of my career. You know what I'm saying? Like that one, it matters that much. You know what I'm saying? To do that. And for me to like just think it's nothing, it totally kills my vibe. You know what I mean? So especially when it's a judgmental call, when the referee was like, oh, I don't like what he did, so I'm gonna throw my flag. It's like, come on, man, you cannot do that. So I agree. We got to fix that and kind of find out what we can and cannot do. Just let us know what we can and cannot do, not to make it a judgment thing. Which QB gave me problems? Aaron Rodgers. Next question. You met my dad. My dad is a cool ass dude. Big Wayne. Shout out to Big Wayne. My podcast is called Upsets and Underdogs. And yes, it's a lot of sports analysis along with some sports betting, some cool stories, some fun jokes, some fun guests that come on the show. And we don't just talk football. I talk UFC, we talk boxing, we talk basketball, we talk whatever it is. So I'm well versed in the sports world as a whole.
Good questions, guys.
Your people came out the gates.
Great questions, guys. This is the squad, man. This the people, man. For those who are asking or not sure, once again, this is Will Blackmon, 12-year NFL vet and the host.
There you go. I survived 12 years.
Upsets. Hey, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to make it to the league. I tell people all the time, it's much harder, in my opinion, to stay in the league. Every time
you can get in, you just need a really good attribute. You can get in.
Now, the higher you go, obviously, the higher you're drafted, I feel like it's hard for GMs and decision makers to kind of forget, what they thought of you when you came out. So you can get a few extra chances. But if you came in, low draft or like an undrafted free agent or something, like you got to prove that you're that dude every day. Every day.
I will say this though. I know for a fact that OBJ really likes Green Bay. I know for a fact.
Who likes Green Bay? Like outside of like how? And what was it like living in Green Bay? Because I know traveling, I think everybody would probably say that's the worst place to go. You usually look at your road games, I'm going to Green Bay.
No, there isn't much.
There isn't Wisconsin or some shit like that.
Yeah, there's nothing to do. It's just football. And cold, no question. But for me, I'm such a huge football historian. Like I was that typical kid that was like, I love football. I would love to play football. Like I was that annoying little kid. And I went to Boston College, which is not a huge football town. It's a great college town, but we didn't have a huge football like fan base. Even if we were ranked 15, like no one gave a damn. You know what I'm saying? And so when I went to
fandom up to crazy.
Well, when I was in school, the Patriots won, the Celtics won, the Bruins won, like the Red Sox won. Everybody won, you know what I'm saying? So who are we? You know what I mean? Yeah. So when I went to Green Bay, it was like this is football, like royalty, like this is what it is, like everything was about the Packers. So as a player to play there, everything's about the Packers. Like everybody got a Tahoe. Everybody had their own radio show. I don't think I paid for dinner in like 3 years.
Yeah.
They just take care of you. It was awesome to play there. But I get it when you're young, trying to figure things out and looking for stuff to do. You got to go to Chicago, which is like a 3-hour drive. Milwaukee's an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. But when it's about football, man, like it's good because you ain't got to think about nothing else.
For a fact that Odell loves Green Bay. I mean, I think it would be obviously great, for a variety of reasons. That'd be a great landing spot for him. Speaking of my college today, we signed, we hired Jim Mora.
Is that official?
I believe it's official. We hired Jim Mora.
Y'all needed some spark, though.
To be our new head coach at the University of Connecticut. Now, when I saw it, it was just random. It was just random as fuck to me. Like, where did this hire come from? But I obviously hopes it works out for the best. I know I made some comments on Twitter about that will be the only place I will go to coach. My agent and someone close to the program immediately talked me out of it. For a variety of reasons, but one of the reasons is just how tough it is to recruit in that area of the country when you are an independent. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. Like, Notre Dame's been an independent, but they have amazing history, and they got always on TV and all these other things that can get recruits there. But when you're an independent, you don't have any bowl tie-ins. You're not competing against a certain conference every year, especially from your pipeline recruiting states. You can't just recruit Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts to survive.
But that's where you gotta flip rocks, man. Like, there are so many talented kids. Like, I live in California, right? I'm right in the heart of the Trinity League, right? With Bosco and Mater Dei, the number 1, number 2 teams in the country. And there's so many kids.
It is not like that up there. I tell you that much.
No, I get it. I get all that.
Ooh.
But I mean, if you look at Moore's his first 4 years at UCLA it's what's appealing. 9.5, 10.3, 10.3, 8.5. I think that's what still obviously fell off towards the end. But I think that's what's appealing to them, and obviously a big name. You want
big name, needed name. Definitely.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, and I feel like at both points, like UConn is desperate for to stay competitive. They're desperate for something huge, and then and Jim wants to coach again. So it's kind of like this was.
I hope it works out. Now, Will, we're going to continue to ask Will Trend. Ask you a few questions. Your best.
I got answers, bro.
All right. So right now, this is probably going to be the toughest one. Who are your 2 best teams in the AFC right now? I feel like this answer probably changes every week for a lot of people. But your 2 best, who do you think are going to, if you had to pick, who's going to represent the AFC in the AFC Championship game, who would it be?
Yeah, I like a good slugfest, man. So I like Baltimore and Tennessee right now. I think I said on my podcast a few weeks ago, I think after Tennessee beat Buffalo, I said that Tennessee and Baltimore, they put the league on notice, letting y'all know that this is a long-ass season.
Yeah.
Okay? It's so y'all can get excited about the Chiefs, the Bills, the Chargers, who you want, but we'll let you know, is once we hit November, let's go. And I think those 2 teams have proved me right so far. So I like those 2 teams.
All right. So it's Ravens, Titans. I like the Ravens. I like the Titans as well. It's hard for me to like the Titans being a former coach. But all year, when they went and played Seattle, they played the Bills, even when they played the Chiefs. Every time I picked against them, against a team that I looked at and said, hey, this team is better than the Titans. Quarterback, whatever. They proved me wrong. So defense is playing better up front. Bayard is playing a defensive player of the year type level right now. Jeffrey Simmons is a monster.
Who has a better resume right now than them?
Titans, undoubtedly, I think right now. Now, the huge question there is how are they going to continue to play well and win without Derrick Henry, because we know how important he is to that team. So, and I think it's a valid question. But so you got the Ravens and the Titans there. So on the other side, NFC, who your best 2 NFC teams?
I still like Arizona. I think they, in the face of adversity, they came through. No head coach, no problem. No Kyler Murray, no problem. They still get it done. So I still like Arizona. Man, I am so nervous about these Cowboys, man. I said that they weren't the Oprah's enemy.
shocked me that. They absolutely shocked me last week getting dominated like that.
Right, and I said on my show too a month ago, I said the only team that's going to beat Dallas is Dallas. Like something's going to happen for Dallas. So to answer your question, I like Arizona and I like Tampa. I like Tampa right now is like quietly just chilling under the radar right now. Like because all the other teams are dealing with stuff, whether it's COVID, whether it's political stuff, whether it is what it is, they're dealing with stuff right now. And I think Tampa they're just chilling in a sweet spot. Like, hey, we're just going to keep throwing 4 touchdowns a game and knocking teams off.
Yeah, Brady, I think he's one of the front runners for the MVP right now, one of the betting favorites for the MVP right now at 44 years old. And I think coming off a bye week, they continue to get healthy. Going to be scary, man. Definitely going to be scary. So you got the Bucks and the Cowboys?
Arizona
and the Cowboys. Arizona and the Bucks.
Yeah, Arizona and the Bucks.
Arizona and the Bucks. Okay, so the Cowboys. Quick question on the Cowboys. You think Trevon Diggs, you think he's a little overrated? I keep getting asked that now because people, hey, is he overrated? You know, what's your thoughts on Diggs? He had a touchdown last week. Obviously came out of the gates firing at all-time pace. What do you think about what's your take on Diggs?
I think Diggs is an outstanding football player. I don't have him as the best corner. I love the fact that he knows how to get the football. I don't want to say he's overrated. I think he's right where he needs to be. I don't think he's overrated at all. I think he's still young. He's still learning. He's learning how to handle, being targeted now for real. He's learning how to handle being in the spotlight. So I think this is a huge learning situation for him, for Al Harris, his DB coach, and Joe Witt for really to hone it. I don't know their relationship, their dynamic. Maybe he got 7 picks. He's like, I'm good. I'm gonna do my thing. I don't know if that's the case. Because for them to take him up top 1-on-1 wide open like that with Patrick, that's
Patrick. Now down the field, Patrick, he's been a great target.
No doubt about it. No, he's out. Just not taking anything away, but it's like, okay, you got the hot hand right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, go get that. So
they're coming at him. They're coming at Diggs though. That's surprising. And I agree with you. I don't think he's overrated. I do think
no question.
But the ball production, I love the ball production.
Right, because that's the hardest thing.
Into that Terrell Buckley, Delta O'Neal kind of category where it's like, hey, it's a guy that's going to have, 9-10 picks, but we still going to target him because he gets beat on the moves, he gets beat on this.
Right.
So he could do that. But if he continues to produce, I'll take a guy like that.
And that's going to
get beat anyway.
Then you are. Everybody's guaranteed to get beat. But that's on him because that's on him. I remember being in Washington when we signed Josh Norman. He has the hot hand, right? Coming from Carolina. And I was like, okay, you got a target now. And I tell all the guys this, when you have a target, the best ones, they self-study themselves. They self-scout themselves because you want to stay ahead of what they're already thinking. Once they find out, okay, he's a playmaker, they're trying to find a way to chink at your armor.
Yep.
How can I attack this dude now? So you got to be a step ahead. So I think in this case for Diggs, now, okay, he proved that he can he already has that thing. I can get the football. Now he got to just show up other things. That's why, I put guys, I know you asked me, we'll get to it, but I put guys like Xavier Howard ahead of him, by far. Obviously, Jalen, by far. Stephon Gilmore, by far, because, it's almost like watching a soccer game. The score might be 0-0, but you've seen a lot of good stuff in that game.
I could never watch a soccer game. I tried it a couple times.
I'm trying to give you an example.
Terrible.
So you shut up. Don't say that. So you can watch soccer and it could be 0-0, but you've seen a lot of good skill in that game where you're like, damn. That's you turning it up. I appreciate it.
Turn it off. I'd rather watch.
So you can watch a DB, and Jalen may not have any picks, but he has disrupted the game in different areas. Yeah. So it's like that.
For sure. All right, let me ask you a couple more. Let's fly through them. Best play caller that you've played for.
Who's the best player you play for?
Best play caller. I played Belichick, so I'll put him in the category. Up there. best play caller.
Oh man, best play caller. I don't even know. Because I was annoying because I felt like,
I know you played all over the secondary.
I played all over the place.
Here. So when a guy plays all those different positions, you got to know what everybody's doing.
You got to know what everyone's doing.
Including the coordinator. Like, I would want to know, okay, we getting this. I want to have a menu in a situation in the game. It's 3rd and 9. All right, I know he's going to call this, or that. So I guess which one of yours? Because you played with some good play callers. So I need you to.
I did. You know what? Here's I'll say this. So I played for Perry Fuel in New York, and I played from Washington. And he used to put in so much for the game, right? He put in so many things. And remember in New York, we're like, damn, why do we have an 8-man rotation at the D line? Like, why are we calling so many things on the back end? We don't need to. We're getting to the quarterback. So, guys went and spoke to Coach Perry when we got into the playoffs, like, hey, let's condense this and make it simple so we can do this. And he put his pride aside and condensed and made us a simple game plan in the playoffs for us to go on and win the Super Bowl. And that right there is like a huge deal, I think.
Taking input, adjusting.
Because it's not so much just like, okay, I have really cool like things to put guys in position, whatever, good play call sheet. But he was willing to like listen to the guys and really take heed what everyone was saying to put us in position just schematically overall. So I think that was a huge deal for me.
I like it. All right. What else we got? Let me ask you one more. I'm going to ask you one more. I got my answer right here. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw up. I need your mid-season MVP and defensive player. You asked me the scariest defensive player in the league when I was on your show a couple weeks ago. I said Myles Garrett. This is where
I got the graphics right here.
Also asked me when he cracked 20 sacks this year. I said yes.
You got plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, he 17-game season. I think he ends up cracking. He's my mid-season defensive player of the year right now. Tom Brady would be the offensive MVP, offensive player of the year. Who are your two right now?
You said his offense player or MVP?
I mean, MVP. I feel like the best offensive player typically wins MVP, and
they don't always do that though. Like when Chris Johnson should have won it, he won offensive player of the year. He didn't get MVP. Like they always do that.
Mm-hmm.
Henry
should have. Nah, Aaron.
Right. Yeah. Right now, my MVP. Oh man, it's a toss-up between Brady and Lamar, man. I just think Lamar does so much for that offense. But Brady is slowly just dicing people apart right now at age 88 years old.
Yeah. I mean, all those players, the Lamar argument, that's a tough one to argue against, especially with everything that happened with Baltimore coming into the season, being in that division, and for them to be where they are right now. Damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Lamar.
Now, shit.
I'm gonna say Lamar MVP. He lost all his running backs.
Yeah.
In that run offense, Lamar MVP. And Lamar it's so scary because he evolved into a passer. He's 24 years old and he still has so much more to grow just as a quarterback. Like now he's chilling in the pocket like, what's up, people? Now I'm gonna hit you for 400. Like, what's good? Like he can do that now. So Lamar is my MVP, and I'm gonna roll with the hot hand, man. I think Kevin Byard, man, he's the difference maker.
Okay,
he's a different. Yeah, he's a difference maker for that whole team, for the whole team. You know what I'm saying? When you can just not only get the football, but be a disruptor and put points on the board. Yeah. As a defender, right now he has the hot hand for me.
Yeah, especially. He's been doing it for a while, too. I know a lot of people just hearing his name, but he's been doing it for a while. We get to see Lamar tonight. We get to see Lamar tonight on the road.
Against your team.
Against one of my teams, my Dolphins, who aren't doing too well. Got to win last week, though.
But how do you do that, though? How can you –
What's that?
Like you go back to the team you like as a kid?
I honestly, to be 100% truthful, I never stopped rooting for the Dolphins. Outside of when they didn't draft me, even when I was I got drafted to a Patriots divisional rival, like that was still my home team. You know.
Oh, I got a question.
Dolphins,
that reminds me.
Marlins, still my home team. So I rock with the Dolphins forever.
I got a question. So, okay, you went second round, so you were popular. But what was the most disrespectful thing you heard leading up to the draft about you?
About me? Damn. That's a good question.
Like when you met with a coach, what was like interviews, whatever it was, what was the not disrespectful or the craziest thing you heard? Or
you know what? I didn't get a lot of that crazy shit. Like you hear the stories and they talking about, people's moms and asking them just like, wow. I do not remember getting a question that kind of like took. I can't remember no crazy shit, honestly. I didn't bench press at the combine or at my pro day, so I forgot what strength coach, but he was super animated. He was like, "Hey man, all these GMs, all these coaches came to watch you do this, that." And, all the guys that didn't do it typically had some type of injury.
Right.
And I was just like, I'm not ready. I'll be ready to do that my pro day in March. So he got somewhat disrespectful. But honestly, in those meetings, man, I would say all of my meetings were super, respectful about football. I didn't have a lot of off the field issues. So yeah, man, I didn't really get tried like that.
I didn't bench either. Because
how do they disrespect you, man? I feel like they pick and choose.
They pick and choose. Well, number one, I didn't bench because I separated my shoulder my senior year in college. And obviously, I played receiver, got tackled every play, so it never healed. And so at the combine,
I was just weak. I was just weak as fuck on the bench.
I get it. All 32 doctors wanted to examine my shoulder. I'm like, can't y'all just watch?
I hated that. Can't y'all share notes?
You know what I'm saying? All 32 got to do the strength test. So by the time it got to bench, I didn't get a chance to like do it. So I was like, I'm not going to bench today. And he's like, well, if you don't bench, I'm like, you want me to run a 4.4 or you want me to bench 225? Yeah. What do you want? They were like, oh, that's a good point. So I didn't bench, end up running. I got a couple of things happened. Couple things happened at the combine to me. Okay. Number one, I remember. So I was getting recruited or scouted as a receiver and a defensive back. So like, what do you want to do, right? And so I went to the Senior Bowl. I finished my senior year as a receiver. I went to the Senior Bowl as a defensive back. I went to the combine as a receiver, and then I stayed and did my own defensive back workout.
So you didn't work out with the D-backs at the combine?
No, I went with the receivers at the combine. Wow. And then anyone said, you want to see Will do DB drills? And I seen Bill Parcells put his hand up. And then everyone else put their hand up. So I did my own DB drills, the whole combine DB drills on my own. But I remember I was in the hallway and it was like, okay, I remember the Steelers like me in first round for receivers. I'm like, okay, maybe receiver. So I'm talking to like different teams, like, okay, what does he want to play? So I meet with Atlanta in the hallway. And he's like, yeah, we really like your film. We like what your receiver. So, there's a possibility, like, after the draft, we might get you as a free agent receiver. I said, excuse me?
You already had your boy Matty Ice?
No, I'm older than him.
Damn, yeah. You old, bro.
I know. They said they're going to get me as a free agent receiver. I said, I'm playing DB. I was like, I'm going. If they think I'm a free agent receiver, I was like, I'm playing DB. So that was, I told all teams after that.
Made up your mind right there?
That did. I told every team after that, I'm playing DB. I don't want to play receiver. If Atlanta thinks that, like, I don't want to bother. And then the other one, I kind of like look at both sides. I'm like, maybe he was just tired. But I remember I met with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I was talking to Marv Lewis, and I was just explaining my story. I try to get all, BC, I was being all smart and whatever it is. And I'm talking to the special teams coach, and I look over, Marv is laid out, bro. He is slumped in the chair.
Your ass wasn't going to the Bengals.
I knew I wasn't going to the Bengals.
That was one of the things I would say was disrespectful. How teams just lied. Like I didn't get that. Like a team, because I was like a fringe player. First round, top of the second. But I thought wholeheartedly I was going first round. Because you had Vontae Davis, who I expected to go before me, and Malcolm Jenkins, who was probably going to be a safety, but I expect him to go before me as well. So I'm third corner on the board, third, fourth corner. So I'm like, the year before, I think we had 6 go first round. So I had the Vikings tell me, if you there at 22, we jumping on the table. We take
they be
Dolphins
lying,
at 25.
bro.
Then on draft day, they still call it, hey, if you still – so I did hate that part of the process, but that shit crazy. But I got to pick this game before we get up out of here. And y'all go check out Pat and the boys. Thursday Night Football, Lamar Jackson, MVP on the road in his hometown. It'll be a home game for him. Favored by 7.5 points. Who you got in this one? I'm going the Ravens to win and the cover. That little half a point, Vegas be knowing what they're doing. But I'm taking them to win and cover.
Vegas know what they're doing. I know. The half point, they try to get us.
Facts.
But, yeah, I think we agree on this one. Yeah, Baltimore, no doubt about it. I think they go crazy. Lamar's going to do his thing. He's going to put on his, 200, 100 type of game. Exactly. G.I. Joe, exactly said it right there. 250, 120, exactly that type of game.
Yeah. All right. So we on the same page here.
But yeah, I know I didn't have any controversy because I'm a smart guy, man. I'm not going to be. I don't do it for TV. All right. That's why I don't argue with people, other analysts on social media, man, because they be out there acting. I'm like, I ain't got time.
Man, don't get me started, man.
I ain't got time for that.
One guy I do love to call out though, Zargon. Shout out, happy belated birthday to Acho.
Acho, no doubt about it. He's funny, bro. He's funny because here's Acho's thing, and he talks so much trash on Twitter, right? He starts so much drama. He does all this bragging and just throws flames out there. But on IG, he's the nicest, generous.
It's real Oprah. It's real Oprah. Like
he's real Oprah. Yeah, Emmanuel Winfrey, bro.
hey, he doing big things though.
No, he's holding it down.
Yeah. So and it's obviously all love.
It's always love, man. That's people don't understand. Like that's how it was. Like that's how the locker room is. Like we talk trash, bro, all the time, man. So when people jump in, like, oh, you going at each other, that's how it is.
That's literally how. If I heard Acho say, like, what?
Hold on, man. Let me get my slides. Man.
Yeah, man. But oh man, great having you again. This is your second time, I believe, on the show.
Yeah,
great having you again, man. I'd love to come back on your show. We'd love to have you back here as well. You held it down for a couple minutes to some questions. I love it, man.
You need to call the segment "Hold It Down."
Hold it down.
Yeah.
We'll just start surprising people every time they come. Hey, I'll be right back.
No, you just need to leave and just put the solo shot like you did me. I didn't know you were leaving.
Just start popping the questions up. But once again, man, drop your show and where the people can find you.
Yeah, it's called Upsets and Underdogs. But when in doubt, just follow me on at Will Blackmon on all socials. I post everything there. So Will Blackmon. That's it.
Will Blackmon. That's it. Check them out, man. Once again, before we get up out of here, happy Veterans Day to all of those who are currently serving and who have served. Thank you. We are out. Y'all go check out Pat, man. Y'all know the vibes. See y'all on Saturday. I have our pick show. Out of here.